official GPA legal public meeting, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what that meeting is going to talk about. So, let's see what else I got. Oh, so far there's no rate study. There's no information on how they want to calculate these extraction fees. It appears that, this budget I handed out to you guys before, this 3A budget, that averages out to be $4.3 million a year over a 5-year period, appears to be the one so far that's been carried forward. And even at the San Juan meeting yesterday, they all agreed that that thing was totally overinflated, that it needs to get redone. But right now, from what we can see, it looks like this rate study, we're not sure, is based on that inflated budget. And even yesterday, a couple board members there are getting very concerned over what the actual irrigated per acre rate's going to be that they're going to end up having to pay for these extraction fees. Also yesterday, that board did a resolution saying they do not want any de minimis or domestic fees. But that's been explained to me by Blaine Greeley because in court cases that they're required to do those. So these are kind of the things that are going on right now. And so I think you guys should kind of hold off on terminating, and I would really like to get better clarification on how your attorney thinks that this is all, that this MOA has been terminated.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry. That's okay.
Do we have all public comments or?
I'm not going to be quiet.
So as your PDCC representative, I'm here to report on no meeting. That got canceled, which is really, I thought, outrageous, because there are so many loose ends. I mean, they've got grant money, like, I think still no to spend with a time limit in April to spend. I mean, it's, they're supposed to have the rate study provided that they didn't do. That is part of the grant, which is part of the PDCC. But it's not there. And I do kind of, what Lori was talking about, it seems that each of the GSAs need to write a letter. Wayne can do it for all.
I will answer that question.
Okay.
After the public comments.
Because,
Have it written.
yeah, the whole thing is just, it doesn't smell right to me. But they canceled this meeting and put it forward. We're gonna fight at the apple, find out, what's going on and ask questions about all this money that hasn't been spent and where it's gonna go. They're talking about they're trying to take our grant money that we did, withdrew from on the blended water deal. So, yeah, it's, I don't know, pretty shaky, and I was really looking forward to going, attending that meeting. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Just have a shady feel.
I feel like the characters involved.
It's been from the start.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, I do appreciate you guys nominating me to represent you. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it was such an arduous task of doing nothing. But appreciate it.
Appreciate your participation anyway, but thank you.
You, Eric.
Thank you. Yep. Council, would you like to respond to those two questions?
Yeah, so just to be clear, what's happening is not a termination of the terms of the agreement. It's 4 out of 5 parties withdrawing from the agreement, which leaves only 1 party, so no agreement, because you can't have an agreement with yourself. It's not, there's legally, there's no more terms to enforce. nothing other than what the parties agreed would continue to be enforced following withdrawal, which is just those two items that I already discussed. And so it isn't a termination. There are two ways that this MOA can be dissolved, and it is unanimous consent for termination or withdrawal of the majority of the parties to the agreement. And with regard to the withdrawal letter and the county having the authority to withdraw on behalf of everyone else, they agreed to that in their four-party agreement. That if the four-party agreement technically says that if San Miguel does not agree to terminate, which would result in a unanimous termination, then that all four parties agree to withdraw, and that they agree the county may send one notice on behalf of all four of them. So that's something that those parties agree to, and we don't have anything to do with. The JPA is formed. It exists. Upon approval by all of the four entities and execution of that agreement, the JPA is formalized. There's nothing further that has to be done to form a JPA. So the next thing for them to do is have their first meeting and come up with their protocols and processes and whatever else they're gonna try to do in that meeting. Maybe some answers on that grant money and what's going on there will come about. The county is the administrator for the grant funds, so any answers on what's going on with that, if it's being refunded back to the state because they're not going to be able to utilize it all by the deadline, all of that is information that's all held by the county, which I'm sure Kelly could get in his meeting with them.
And I'm sure the county will provide it even if I wasn't having a meeting with them. They are very willing to continue working with us. So if that's information that the board would like to have, then we can certainly get that and bring that back.
That'd be great.
I'll make a couple real quick ones here. One thing I forgot to mention is yesterday there was a discussion on the 218, a cost that has to be funded by whoever the parties right now, the four, who have to fund that, and they're estimating that it will at least be $200,000. And I don't know how that, if you guys are involved in that, if you're not part of the GPA, or whether that flows through to all 5 GSAs, I have no idea. I'm just putting out a number, and I think that's a low number.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And then the other thing I just wanted to ask is, you know, and this probably isn't even a big deal in the end, but for your attorney to say that legally if 4 people withdraw, that dissolves the MOA, that's not what the MOA says. So I don't know where the legally comes in. So if it doesn't, you would think if there was a minority number less than 5 in this case, that would have somehow been set forth as a separate option in the agreement.
It's in the agreement. We got to shut this down, Marie. I appreciate the comments. It's anything that's an MOU or MEA spells out responsibilities and essentially what each party to that agreement is responsible for. And if 4 of them pull out, you have one entity left, then there's no other 4 people or 4 parties to handle the other responsibilities. So essentially, it doesn't give any power to do anything. So we're not withdrawing from it. If the other 4 parties have, then there's no MOA to enforce. But anyway, so we're going to move on. I appreciate all the comments. Anything else from staff or council?
No.
Okay. So we will adjourn.
How about the date of this letter that came from?
I don't have the information handy.
I'm sorry about that, it's March 25th. March 25th.
March 25th.
Yes. I apologize, I had that written down too, and I just skipped
So they still belong to the MOA for 30 days.
30 days.
Okay.
So they can belong to both.
We're going to adjourn from the GSA meeting.
Can you give me time?
Okay. It is 8:24.
Thank you.
Got board comment.
Yes, board comment.
I guess I did it to you. You're welcome.
Who's moving?
I have a comment or a question for our fire chief. So Mr. Young, for vehicles that are parked in a fire lane, do you, as the fire chief of Decatur, have any authority to have them ticketed or towed?
The only route we have is to call CHP and have CHP remove them. Where are they being parked at? We can,
In the alley behind the house.
in an alley behind us, we could definitely, if you let me know, we'll definitely go by there because that alley is a fire lane. And there's no reason for vehicles to be parked back there. Is that happen frequently or do you have a specific time?
Pretty frequently. I mean, there's one of them, I understand, is a problem. They have an electric vehicle and they're charging components come over the fence.
Extension cord.
That's inherently dangerous.
I'm aware, but so I think their issue is not just a matter of convenience, it's having a vehicle that will go somewhere. The others are literally laziness or convenience parking just because they are unloading their cars and then they leave them overnight. In some cases, it's a huge Dodge quad cab lifted, almost a monster truck, it's huge, and it would absolutely impede fire vehicles from traversing the alley.
Well, if you could contact my district phone, send me a text message, we'll do everything we can to keep the fire lanes clear, fire lanes, fire hydrants. You know. People like to use the front of the fire station as a staging area to go to the post office and pay their utility bills too.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
On that comment,
You do that?
Every now and then.
the CHP is well aware of people parking in front of hydrants. Our utility staff calls them at least once a week to have somebody ticketed or towed. And they basically told us to keep calling, and they'll keep having more people around, and they'll enforce it as much as they can.
Okay, very
But
good.
as far as fire lanes go, I would definitely talk to the fire chief to make sure that, you know, it's posted and everything else is good, so.
They park right under the sign.
No denying that.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I have. Other board comment?
I have a question for Kelly. How did the meter swap go?
So, I was incorrect when I said before that we had 2 brand new meters. We did not, we only had 1. So we ordered 2 more. They came in, we put them in today. Our utility staff talked to the owner, and they're in now, so by the next meeting, we should have a very good
Some
idea.
results. Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, but you will be reading the new meter in front of his house, right? And billing for that.
Their meter is the one in the alley. We will be reading both of them to compare them, which was the board direction.
They're gonna build them based on the meter that's in the driveway.
Yeah, right.
But they're going to compare.
Oh, yeah.
What's passing through the other meter.
Yeah.
To see if there's water going somewhere.
Right.
Okay, it may not be right now, but
Yeah,
come June,
yeah.
might be a different story.
Any other board comment?
Try this again.
What was the cost on those, Billy? On those meters?
So each meter is $385.
385? And an hour or so, 2 for staff to go through there and put them in?
There was 2 people,
Okay.
it took them approximately an hour,
Yeah.
you know, between the time of putting it in and the time to talk to the people, so.
That's it?
Anything else?
Adjourn to closed session.
Well, public comment on closed
Oh,
session.
sorry. Public comment on board comment, yes? No. All right.
Public comment on anything in closed session.
Oh, anything in closed session, yes.
Got anything? No.
Anybody? All right.
Can you give me a time?
8:28. Keep going.